Hello everyone, my name is Katie. I am the Introverted Reader and today's video is long awaited. I'm sorry this is taking me a while to put up, but this is my review on our July book club pick of the month for the Introverted Reader book club, and that was Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. This book was first and foremost amazing. I absolutely adored it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and what it's about is about this transgender black queer boy called Felix, and he goes to this really prestigious art school in New York City with his best friend, and it's just him and his dad living in their little apartment in New York. And he's an artist. He loves to paint and create and stuff, and basically what happens one day is he walks into school, and all over the foyer, like the lobby area, is photos of his old self plastered with his dead name, just like written everywhere. And then he starts getting these really horrible transphobic messages on his Instagram. And obviously he's very hurt and distraught and disgusted by this. And he sort of has it in his head who he thinks that might have done this. He has it in his head who he thinks it might have done this to him. So he decides to create a fake Instagram account and catfish this person in order to get back at them and get revenge and try and embarrass them as much as they embarrassed him. Although obviously it ends up taking a completely different turn, and that's all I'm really gonna say, because I really think, because all I knew about this book was that it was about this transgender boy falling in love, and obviously the whole thing with Instagram or whatever, that's all I knew. So I kind of went into it a little bit blind, but yeah, that was all I knew. And oh my goodness, like I mentioned, first and foremost, this book is amazing. I adored Felix as a character. He was so funny and he had so much depth. I love that about him. And I also love the fact that, yes, it was about him, trying to just be himself, and the whole transphobic comments thing on Instagram, obviously that's the main plot, but as well, it's about him just like constantly questioning his identity and learning that that is perfectly okay. Like, you don't have to put like a permanent label on yourself. You can always continue to ask questions and be curious and all that. And as well, he goes to this really prestigious art school, and this school is usually only for kids who are like richy rich, you know what I mean, like whose parents sign huge checks and they get in no problem. But obviously his dad is not rich. It's mentioned throughout the book that him and his dad are going through a lot of financial issues. His dad's working a bunch of jobs, and Felix always feels really bad that his dad's having to do that for him. I mean, he's grateful, but he feels bad that he's working all the time. And his dad, on the one hand, he does support Felix being trans, and like he pays for like medical stuff and whatever, but as well, his dad is still having a lot of issues accepting Felix for who he is, and he still doesn't really call him by Felix, the name that he wants to be called by. And I really enjoyed that, the dad's own personal journey, and just, yeah, it was really sweet. I mean, it was sad, but it was still really sweet, as the dad just learned to accept his son for who he is. And as well, like I said, he goes to the art school and he has to put together this portfolio, and a lot of the book is him wondering whether or not his art is good enough to be able to get into the university that he wants to get into. And he's wondering, like, there's so many other people that go to this school that are so much more talented than I am. Like, he knows that he's good at art, but he constantly questions whether or not he's good enough himself. And he has to put this portfolio together, and he's unsure what to do with it. And the whole like running out of time sort of thing, like he really wants to get into this, he really wants to go to university and like study art and stuff, but he's constantly asking himself whether or not his art is good enough, or whether he's good enough. And it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. And although I will say, One thing I wasn't particularly over about this book was that just the way his friends treated him. Like, a lot of them were on the LGBTQ spectrum themselves, and yet they constantly degraded him. Like, they would sometimes make a joke or be sarcastic or something, and it's just like, how can you talk to him like that? Like, are you not supposed to be his friend? Like, that really, really irked me. So I'll give a trigger warning just for that, just for people being transphobic and stupid and ignorant. But I adored Felix's best friend, Ezra. Ezra is a person that we just all don't deserve, but deserve at the same time to have in our lives, because he's just so wonderful and so sweet, and I adore their relationship in this book. And I love how this book talked about, like I mentioned at the beginning, how it's okay to always be asking questions and being curious about your own identity. Like, yes, Felix knew that he was trans, but at the same time, he's just like, yeah, but do I fully identify as a boy, or is there something more feminine about me as well? Like, he knows who he is. He knows he's trans, but at the same time, he's just like, but, you know, that can there be like feminine qualities to me as well? Like, is the he him pronouns really how I want to be addressed as? And he constantly has these little conversations with himself, and he ends up actually going to a therapy group, like a support group, with all these other different people within the LGBTQ spectrum, and I find those scenes really, really interesting. A lot of great discussions were said in here, and a lot of stuff like touched my heart as well. So yes, just a lot of feelings, and yeah, I just adored this book from start to finish. I completely flew through it. It's wonderful, it's cute. One of my Funkos just fell. Zuko just fell over, but that's fine. It's thought-provoking, it's emotional, it's wonderful. Like, this is definitely a book that I highly recommend that everybody read, and I do realize that this is just a drop in the ocean to so many other books about Black queer young people, and I really, really, really want to do my utmost to try and find more books that are like this, because it's really important nowadays that we are reading books like this and giving Black authors the support that they rightfully deserve. So yeah, that is my review of Felix Ever After. 5 out of 5 stars. I adored this book. I am going to be reading one of Kacen Callender's other books this month, their book that's Queen of the Conquered, I believe it's called. And yeah, I will definitely be supporting them a lot more in the future. So I'll just set Felix right here. We're knocking things over, but that's fine. Yes, anyway, that's my review. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it's been a while since I posted, but like I said, I am back at work now, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to post more videos, but I will do my very best. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Stay safe. Twitter, Instagram, down below as always. The subscribe button is right there as well. If you want to subscribe, please consider doing so. I have 114 subscribers. Thank you all so much for that. And yeah, I love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye.